Yeah, I just want to run through real quick what actions it actually takes to make 10K, for instance. There's basically only six methods of getting clients. And it's inbound, so that is people who are coming to you. Um, that usually requires that you have built up a brand with the content, or that you had a lot of clients before that are either coming back to you, so referrals, or they're sending people that they know to you. So that requires that you already are established. You have a brand. But if we don't have a brand, if we are pretty new or we don't have a lot of followers and stuff like that, then there's basically just reaching out to people, so cold outreach. There's three ways we can do that. There's via emails. That it depends what method you choose depends on your niche, because it depends on where you can find your clients. And if we can find, for instance, their emails, for most coaches, it can be difficult to find people's emails. Um, so that's not really a good method. Then there's a cold DM that, like we are doing, we are reaching out to people on social media, DMing them. And then there's cold call. That requires that the people uh, are on their phone, and also that we can find their telephone number. And then, of course, there's paid ads. We can do paid ads on all the social media platforms and Google ads, but that's not really what we're doing here. Our methods are mostly organic, right? So, yeah, so that's why I'm gonna focus on what actions or how much action do you need to take with the cold DM to get to, for instance, 10K. So let's say that you are reaching out to 100 people per day with the DM, sending 100 DMs, um, and you have a booking rate of 1%. So you send 100 DMs, so talking to 100 new people every day, and just one person is booking a call with you from that, which is a pretty low booking rate actually. But let's just stay a little bit pessimistic, because it's always better to be positively surprised. So if you do that just 5 days a week, so you take the weekend off, then you get 20 calls per month about. And then you get a 10% conversion rate, which is also pretty low, because yeah, if we're not that good at sales, or also not everybody will show up on the calls. So 10% conversion rate is pretty low. Usually it's 15 to 20%. But with a 10% conversion rate and 20 calls, that then results in two clients per month. So then it of course depends on how much your program costs. But there you already have two clients per month. And then if you send out more DMs, you will get more clients and more calls. But also you will also be building up your brand, and some people will respond later. So it's actually everything is gonna improve here. Your booking rate will be better. Your also conversion rate will become better, because you also get better at doing all this, better at talking to people online, and better at the sales calls. And that's why it's important to track it. I sent you some Google Sheets yesterday, but it doesn't matter really how you track it, but it tracks things, because otherwise we can easily become discouraged, because we feel like it's not working. But really, we only know if we are tracking things, because we can't rely on how we feel. And we can't really remember how many we reached out to. It's also important to track things, to be able to follow up, because following up with people, that's the main way to get bookings, because hardly anybody will respond the first time you send them a message. So following up is really, really important. And when we are talking to a lot of people, and we can't remember who we talked to and who we sent the link to, and everything like that. So therefore, it's very useful to put it down, write it down somewhere, so that you can follow up and you know which ones you sent the booking link to, and maybe make some notes or something like that. But so you don't get overwhelmed in your business. You can actually stop doing a lot of other things so that you just focus on the things that are most important for your business, which is getting bookings. So doing the outreach at first, and then of course taking the sales calls once you get that, and then taking care of your clients once you get those. Those are the only things you need to be doing in the beginning. You can also do some content, which is good because that's going to over time build up your brand, and then people are going to actually come to you. You're going to start to get inbound people. So people see your content and they're going to come to you, message you, and want to know more. So if you have time for that, that's good. But otherwise, just focus on doing the outreach. It sucks. It's not fun, but that's the fastest way to get clients. So yeah, that was just a quick little presentation. So I mean, if you do just 100 DMs 5 days a week, then you should be able to get 2 clients per month. So. Yeah, any questions to that?
Right. Yeah. So my question is overcoming procrastination and going from
Yeah.
0 messages to 100 messages a day.
Yeah, okay.
It is. I
Yeah,
think like we've discussed, and you've been very helpful in overcoming the procrastination. You know that the first bit is always the most
yeah,
difficult one. Yeah. So yeah, just I mean, I believe it's all
yeah,
about gaining the momentum and like saying like, okay,
yes,
maybe I just send like 10 messages and see what happens. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but it's also about not having the right expectations, because you're not gonna probably see too good results if you send 5 or 10 messages. It's going to take a very long time. So if you have the right expectations, like 100 messages and only one will actually become a booking, then you don't get discouraged that fast. And also tracking things so that you know that oh, you feel like nothing is working, but maybe if you track things, you can see that maybe I didn't do that much. That's why it's not working. It's
Yeah.
also important that we, for instance, don't change things all the time. So if you have one kind of message that you're sending people, you have to be using that same message for at least a couple of hundred people in order for it to see if it works. And then if you don't get any good responses, then you can change it. And it's usually the headline or the first part of the message that is important. Or what I always recommend is to do a video messages, video or audio messages, because it's much more personalized and people get curious on what you're saying because they can pre-read it, like a text message.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um,
that's why I thought also that it could be kind of fun if we all would keep each other accountable here in the group, and put down. I sent out mm, maybe 50 messages today or something like that, and got 5 with positive responses. So yeah, we can keep each other accountable. You can see how other people are doing and stuff like that. It becomes a little bit like a game.
yeah, it's a good
So,
idea. Good idea.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. And in terms of outreach of like hundreds of people, like where do you find them? Like what on the groups of Facebook and LinkedIn?
Yes, yes, mainly groups. Groups are great, especially Facebook. LinkedIn. has become more and more difficult because they don't allow us to reach out to that many unless you have Sales Navigator. Then you can
Yeah.
reach out to more. So that's a big help if you have that. But really, you can find almost all kind of people on Facebook. We use mostly Facebook with the appointment setters.
All right. And it
Yeah.
works still for you.
Yes, yes. And the appointment setters, they also sometimes they make a post, a small post like looking for coaches who want to grow their business or something like that, and people respond to that. So it's a little bit more warm outreach, same as if you would make some kind of post and you start to engage with everybody who reacts to your post. It's a little more warm than just doing cold outreach because they raised their hand, they were interested in that thing.
Yeah, I'm actually doing it. I've been doing it recently.
Yeah.
Also mainly I think on the Polish groups because I'm part of a lot of Polish groups and Polish groups like Polish people in the UK.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's all about finding the right group, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it has to have the, big amount of people and be within the niche. Um, because yeah, there are groups out there I've seen, but and they have like big numbers, but very often big numbers means that there's
Mm.
a lot of people like from, I don't know, Bangladesh and India, and it's just not
Yeah.
very relevant. Um,
Yes.
but maybe I want to share something which I've learned, on
Yeah.
my sales training and can be useful for others. Then,
Mhm.
and I think it's in the lines of what you teach as well. Is like instead of just sending, if somebody replies like, oh yeah, send me more information, I don't just share the link. I ask the question, like, hi, it's so great that you're interested. So what makes you interested in this type of retreat in my case? And then,
Mhm.
some of them women, they write me like almost a life story. Uh,
Okay.
Even if it's not a good match, what I'm getting out of it is like the insight, and then like their needs, and then I can use it in crafting like
Yeah.
messages, or tweaking my website
Mhm.
communication. So it's very, very useful
Yes.
when you show like interest in people and ask them why, what makes you interested in this product.
Mhm. Yeah.
um they
Yeah. That's good.
open up, so I found
Yes.
it quite useful.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I do that also if I'm talking to someone on social media. Yeah, and it's all about we need to get to know our ideal clients. And the better we know them, the better we can talk to them and reach them. We can use exactly the messages that resonates with them. So yeah, getting to know them really, really well is very important. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, that's good. I want to say something. I don't know. I forgot. Um, yeah, but
Yeah, just
yeah, that's good that you.
a
Oh
number.
yeah. Oh, it was sorry about the groups. Yes, the big groups are usually not the best. The
Mm.
smaller groups where there's also engagement is the best.
Yeah.
There can
Yeah.
be some that don't have that much engagement. So you can take a look at how old or how often are people posting. You can see what type of post they have. Is it just spam or so? But a little bit smaller groups are usually the best where there's also engagement.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point. Yeah, like
yeah, but otherwise it is a lot about the volume, especially in the beginning. So yeah, that's why I find it good to track things so that we actually know how much we are doing and not just guessing and then feeling like it's not working and giving up. So it's all about keep going, don't give up. The only way you can lose is if you stop.
yeah, that's
Yes,
very true. Very
yes.
true. Yeah.
Starting a business has been a lot tougher for me than I thought it would be. So it is. Yeah, it is really tough. A lot of um yeah, you have to do a lot of things that doesn't work, a lot of failure, a lot of rejection, and a lot of trial and error. So it's just about not giving up, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The longer I am and running the business, the more I learn this is true, absolutely true.
yeah,
It's yeah, it's about the perseverance and no, it's that's why entrepreneurs they have a very different personality and mindset because it comes down to that. And
yes,
people who've been employees, they
yes,
just don't have it, and that's
yeah,
why they are giving up very soon.
yeah, yeah. And then also think about why you're doing it. Think about your goal. And also the pain that you have. What are you trying to avoid? What will happen if you stop your business? For
Mm,
me, that I can't think of hardly anything that would be worse. I would feel really, really lost if I would give up and I would never succeed. It's like um, I would when I get old, I would have so much regret. I
mm,
think that's it for me. I would have so much regret when I get older if I just give up. And
yeah,
it's also the more that you're doing, the more that you put into it, both time and money. I also spent so much money on getting my business started. It's like if you give up, then you lost everything that you already put into it.
yeah, yeah. Lost investment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
So that's why it's good to have other entrepreneur friends or some kind of community so we can support each other because it is a lonely and hard journey. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, it helps
yeah,
because when you speak, everybody's going through the same journey, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah, they're navigating it, and
yeah.
it's quite
Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, it can be really difficult because you feel that, oh, it's not working, I can't do this. But if you hear that other people have the same problems, then it makes it easier to continue.
yeah, absolutely true. Yeah,
Yes. And I
yeah,
feel that, like you said, people who have more that like a normal job, they have a different mindset, and it can be difficult to talk to them about it because they just don't understand.
mm,
Um, yeah, I have a friend that I had for since the seventh grade or so, and she's always telling me, relax, slow down, and don't work so hard, And so she doesn't understand. And it's a little bit difficult because people like that can really hold us back because it is sometimes hard and we want to slow down and relax. But actually, that's not what we should do. We should just continue grinding. Um, yeah, I don't buy into that thing with the law of attraction, the things are just coming to you. That didn't work for me. Um, I believe that action um, makes things come to you.
it's always about action, and my approach is it's somewhat spiritual. I am very
Mhm.
much into this word, and I'm really training a lot in that. And the bottom line is, it's both components. It is taking action,
Yes,
but taking action from a very different place. So it's like working on your mindset first,
yes,
because imagine if you don't believe something is possible, then whatever action
right.
you take, you will stop, or you will just you will
Mm,
not be convincing when you're speaking to people or anything like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it is the mindset, it is the the meditation, it is clearing the the blocks,
Mhm.
and all the emotions, and then taking the aligned action, like, from the
Yeah.
place of, yes, it is possible, and action is just like one of the elements. So that's
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm also spiritual, and I believe also taking inspired action is good. But some kind of action is necessary. But also, if you love what you do and take inspired action, doesn't feel like hard work.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, so
yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah.
so that's a kind of attracting things. Yeah, I
Mm.
agree.
Also, I think
Yeah.
the intention, I don't know what is your view on that, but um, intention is super, super important, and
Mm,
because it's
yeah.
like it works on a subconscious level, and subconsciousness rules.
Yes.
So in a lot of cases, even myself, when I, at the beginning when I started my business, I was very like frustrated because like, oh, why is not working?
Mm,
Working so hard, I'm pushing so hard, I'm spending all this money
yeah.
on trainings and everything, and it's not working. And then when I've learned about the intention, I started like analyzing what was my intention of starting the business. And actually, my
Mm,
intention at the very beginning, before I was working, in the aviation. So, and aviation is very much regulated and very regimental, and you have to obey by the rules, and you basically
mm,
get a schedule, which is called the roster of like, what your flights are going to be and where you have to be in the world. So for many, many years, I've been dreaming of like being in charge of my own schedule, being in charge of
mm,
like, my work day, my month. And, that was my biggest drive. And then I've resigned and,
mm.
I opened my business. And I was like, yeah, I've made it. And then why the business is not working, because the intention
Yeah.
was to create a successful money income business. It was about like,
Yeah.
being in charge of your roster. So now I am, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think it's because you maybe had the wrong expectations. You thought everything was going to start working right away. But
Yeah.
yes, it is about intention. When you start to focus more on um, being of service, helping your clients instead of just making money, then yeah, everything starts to work better because you have different intentions, but also you're not focusing so much on that money that is not coming in. You're
Yeah.
more focusing on um, are the clients happy, or am I getting any clients, or also doing the outreach? Are people, I mean, it can be hard when you're doing the outreach, for instance, to just do outreach. But if you enjoy talking to people and you get information from them, so you have a different intention. It's more like getting to know them, or maybe adding value. If they have some kind of problem, you can help them with in the chat. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is like that. It is like that.
Yeah.
And the money is like always comes as a byproduct.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I agree with that. It's just,
yeah. Then it becomes much easier when we don't focus on the money.